Three, two, one.
Growing Up Latina, Season 3, Episode 28.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Glowing Up Latina.
Hello,
I'm Christina.
and I'm Amanda.
Hello, Amanda. How are you doing this evening?
I'm a little tired right now. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Okay, your solo episode is out now. How are you feeling?
You know what? That went easier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I thought like 12 minutes in, I was like, oh, I'm going very fast. But then somehow another like 30 or like, yeah, 35 minutes ish, I was able to talk even more. So I was like, okay. It wasn't too bad actually.
I
And I
told
thought,
you, I don't
yeah.
know, you think you're not gonna have a lot to talk about, and then somehow you're like, oh, it's been an hour, and I've been talking for an hour to
And talk.
myself.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was about to say that. I was like, I'm talking to myself at this point for an hour.
I wonder what that says about us.
Right? The dialogues again. We say that the dialogues that go on in our heads, like I can entertain myself all day, probably. Um, yeah, it went by pretty quickly. I thought I was gonna actually do that. I was gonna break it up in like 2 days,
Hmm. And
but
you did it in
now
one sitting?
in one sitting. I told Constantine, I was like, let me just do like the first part of it where like we get up to how our week is and our week was, and I'll do like the actual topic another day. But it went by pretty quickly. I think what also helped is that I had the stuff that I wanted to talk about already. Like I had my notes there. I did it like the day before. So because I had my notes in front of me, I was just like, you know what? We're just gonna knock this out. So yeah.
It does
But it was
make
fun.
it a lot easier so that 'cause I definitely can go on tangents. Sorry, I'm eating a mandarin. I can definitely go on tangents when I'm talking, so it helps me to be more structured. Like the notes are very helpful.
Yes. And then, okay, what I got at the end of the episode is just that, I have a lot of worries, a lot of anxiety, and that's the reason why I have all these stupid, crazy dreams.
They come through in your dreams. Can't even let you
Yeah.
rest in your sleep.
No, I can't, apparently. So, yeah, that was fun. But overall, yeah, I had a great time by myself talking to myself.
And how was the editing part? Because you guys, Amanda, this was a solely Amanda produced episode.
It
Amanda did
was.
the outline, she filmed herself, she edited herself, she came up with the socials for the week for herself. 100% you are seeing Amanda.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was all me. Yeah, it was good. Like kudos to Christina because ah, yeah,
It's a lot of time is what it is.
yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But because again, like I knew like when we know what we're going to discuss, we can plan it out and figure out what I'm gonna do like each day until the episode gets released. So yeah. Yes, 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 yes.
A round of applause for Amanda,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on your
Thank you.
solo episode.
Thank you.
So exciting. How has your week been? I guess it's only Wednesday. We're recording this on Wednesday, so it's the hasn't been the whole week yet. Although today I fully thought one that we were recording on Thursday, and also I thought today was the 23rd the whole day until Amanda texted me and was like, "Are we still recording tonight?" And I was like, "We're supposed to record on Thursday." Because I knew the 24th. And then I looked at the calendar and I was like, "Ah, today is the 24th."
24th. Yeah.
So I actually had to go back and redate some things that I had done because I had it dated for the 23rd.
This reminds me of the episode of Friends where Monica is ovulating and Chandler is like, well, today is like the 18th. And she goes, no, it's not. And she goes back to her calendar. She's like, oh, damn, it is. She goes, I may be done ovulating. I may have also served some questionable meat.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, today is the 24th. Today is a Wednesday. I feel like the week is just dragging. I don't know what it is.
No, it does.
The week
Yeah.
is dragging. We're almost out of Mercury is almost out of reggaeton. Mm, we celebrated Constantine's birthday over the weekend, like I had mentioned in the episode, my solo episode. So that was fun. Constantine had lots of fun. He had lots and lots of fun.
Good for
Um,
Constantine joining the
yeah,
30th. What did you say? The Dirty 30 Club.
Dirty 30 Club. So
Constantine's not 30, flirty, and thriving.
he is not. If he is, then he's only with me. But he had a great time. Kudos to him. Um, I did as well. How about you? How you doing?
Fine, working. It does like I don't know what it is. This week definitely does feel long. I don't really know what's going on, what's in the water this week. But I'm trying to enjoy it still because then, before we know it, the summer will be over and I'll be like, what the hell happened? Like how did we go from here to there?
Girl, exactly. I mean, already like next week is already May, and that's it. Like the summer's gonna come and go. And by the time you know it, it's already the holidays. Yeah, we're almost like halfway through the year. Hello.
It comes and it goes so fast, like so fast. I don't think I hadn't had I feel like when I was younger, I didn't have this like time was moving so fast thing.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, a time I don't know if I had a concept of time, if that makes sense.
Right now, time is a thief.
I
Yeah.
know. When all those people used to be like, enjoy your youth, enjoy being young. I used to be like, bro, I have so many more years of being young. And now look at me. I mean, I'm still like, yeah, still young, whatever. But like, I'm not 21. I'm not 18. Like,
Like my mindset this morning, I was getting off the train and getting out of the train station. I'm walking up the stairs and I'm like, damn, I was just here yesterday doing the same exact thing. I want to go home. It definitely felt like an episode of Groundhog or like the movie Groundhog Day, just repeating over and over again. Oh my God. And then I think this week public school doesn't have they have spring break.
oh, they did. Yeah, they did.
So I mean, luckily, I mean,
Oh my
like
God. I was wondering why there were not that many kids on the
in the
train.
train. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get a seat or
Duh,
like at least
yeah.
like stand somewhere where someone's book bag isn't like shoving me. So
Yeah. It had been less crowded. And I didn't even like, I
yeah,
was like, that's weird. Am I leaving at a different time? And I was like, I don't think so. Spring break. That's why.
it's spring break. Wait, come next week, Monday, that train is
Oh,
going to be
they're gonna be
packed
back.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our week, you guys. How exciting. We hope y'all's weeks are going well and
Yes.
that y'all are super, super excited for us to wrap up the season, but not too excited because you also want us to come back for
Yes.
season 4.
I told y'all. Yes, please come back.
Do not forget that you can submit your season 3 finale submissions for a couple of more days. We're taking them when you're hearing this episode, we are taking them until that Friday, May 3rd, and then we will be done submitting because Amanda and I will actually be recording the episode the next day.
Yes.
So, yay for that. And when you're submitting, submit secrets, submit stories you want to tell us. We've had some people submit like, "Oh, this thing happened with a group of people and I want to know what y'all think." And one of them is really good. Like I'm excited. Not one of them. They're all really good, you guys. Um but yes, I'm excited for Amanda to hear them. I'm excited to get her reactions. I'm excited for us to talk about them. Somebody just put a link to a TikTok in there and that's it. Just the link. And when I watched it, I was like, they want us to talk about this? Is that what they're
Oh
like? Is
my
that all it is?
God.
It seems a little aggressive, but I also kind of love it. Like you were just like here and
Oh my
that's
God.
it, nothing else.
Wow. Okay, super excited now.
So
Woohoo.
that will be
Send more
open for a
stuff.
couple of more days. Don't forget. And then that is a wrap on season 3.
Wow. Wow, wow. I gotta say, 30 episodes, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Wow.
Covered
That's
a lot
amazing.
this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, yeah.
And then don't forget, if you are interested in receiving kind of like a survey for the podcast to help me out in my season 4 planning, let me know. I'll have the link up on Instagram. And if you don't have Instagram, just shoot us an email at glowinguplatina@gmail.com and I will be sure to send you the link to the survey. And with that, we should get into this week's episode. We're talking about an oh so fun topic that we all know so much about, I am pretty sure. Guilt. We will be talking about guilt.
Oh my
This
goodness.
episode was originally going to be structured as like first gen guilt, but as we've talked about on the show, at this point, Amanda is the only one that's first gen. It was
Yes.
Amanda and Liana before.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like comfortable calling it first gen guilt when I'm not
Mm-hmm.
first gen. And so it's now just about guilt. And which I think opens it up quite a bit to like all of the different ways that like we can feel guilty in our lives.
Yes.
When one, we probably shouldn't. And two, if we should, then are we learning from it the way that we should be, or are we just
Mm-hmm.
carrying it?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I was gonna try to define guilt, but I feel like we all know what it is. Like it's a universal feeling, I think.
Yeah, it's funny that you say feeling because that's how I was just gonna define it. I was just like, it's for me, like it's that feeling you get where it does kind of sit like at the pit of your stomach and you're just like it's kind of like a mix of like anxiety and sadness and you're just like uh you feel very bad, like super bad about something that you can't like commit to or you did or or you haven't done. So that's the only way I can describe it from my end is that feeling that I mean at least that's a feeling I get when I know that when I'm experiencing guilt.
I think for me, mine like sits in like my head. Like I can think about it over and over and over again. Like it's a persistent like nagging thought.
Yes, that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would go into like the anxiety of it all. And then when I'm feeling guilty for something, obviously like usually comes the apology. So then like formulating the apology in my head and then the different ways that like that can play out. Like, okay, if they don't accept my apology, then what am I gonna say? And if they do, or if what if they do this? It's
All I'm hearing is anxiety on top of anxiety on top of anxiety because
literally.
right, you have to think about all right now here comes the apology. How am I going to phrase it in a way that comes off as that I you are genuinely like sorry, apologetic for what whatever it is. And then right, if that person doesn't accept my apology, how do I do it? I guess I have to live with myself with whatever it is. Or my thing is also like, okay, let's say the person does accept your apology. Are they accepting your apology to let it go? Or do they really actually like accept your apology? So now I'm like, I don't know, I'm in limbo.
Yeah. So like obviously I think we could like talk all day about like guilt in the context of like things we're like apologizing for and things that maybe we have done wrong to people. I definitely think that's one aspect of guilt, but the aspect of guilt that like we're kind of going to focus on is like which is something I think we have talked about on the show or has maybe like a thread has run through the show is like kind of like guilt that comes from family, guilt that comes from like outside pressures that you put on yourself, things like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we definitely have touched a little bit about it, like receiving that family guilt and like, being present for as much as we can and like, whether if it's like, an event or just in general being there, being present for your family in all aspects of the world. Like, sometimes we just make ourselves too available sometimes and then, the minute we can't you know, step up to the plate, then it's kind of like, well, this person always, comes through. How come they couldn't do it this time? And, yeah, you feel guilty, you feel bad about it, but, life happens.
Yeah, and also like guilt that comes from like maybe wanting to be there for people or wanting to show up for people, and also just like not having the time or the energy or like guilt from establishing boundaries and things like that. Like things you know that are good for you, but also like I think we talked about it in the boundaries episode. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't always feel good to do the things that are good for you.
Right, right. So if you're gonna do something, and I think that's what Leona had said also. If you're gonna do something, you should do it with good intention. You shouldn't do something because you're being forced to do it. You shouldn't be forced to be present in something that you don't want to begin with, because I've learned now, like I'm very much now where like if I don't want to be present, it'll show in my face, it'll show in like the way I carry myself, and that's not cool. So and I don't want to, nobody, and I also don't want to like bring like negative energy to something that, maybe it's a joyous occasion or whatever. So like if I'm not feeling it, like I just I gotta sit out, you
Mm.
know?
So, can you think of anything like maybe that you do feel guilty for? Like, I think for me,
Hmm.
one of the things that I always talk about is like moving out. I felt guilty when I left home for college, and then I felt guilty when I like stayed here after college and then after law school. As someone who
Yeah.
like is self-proclaimed, loves her family so much, loves being around her family, has continuously stayed away from them for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that too, because it's not so much of me moving out, it's so much of me just watching my mom move out and keeping the apartment. Because I was very much like about moving out. I was gonna move out with Constantine. We were gonna look for a place. But my mom was just like, "Why? Like, I'm gonna be stuck with this apartment. When you guys need the space, you guys are gonna want to have a family. Like, you can do this. Like, you can take over the apartment, and I will. She'll move in with her boyfriend. So I do. There are times where I do feel guilty where I'm here and she's again. You said it. You said so yourself. Like, you love your family. You're all about family. Like, I love my mom, and that's the person. Like, I don't have to tell you guys. You already know how my relationship is with her. So it's like to watch her leave, like move out, I felt so bad because it kind of felt like I was kicking her out, but that's not what it was, you know? And there are times, when she comes and visits and she leaves again, like I just feel so guilty because I'm like, my mom can be here, but instead she gave me this. Like, she gave me the okay to be here. And it's, yeah, yeah. Like, if I can go back, I would like work like 10 times harder to find an apartment nearby, and just so that way she can stick around, because there are times you're right, she misses New York City, like she misses like going to the bodega around the corner, like that's not the way of life where she is right now. It's not the same.
I didn't know you guys had planned to like look for an apartment. So did y'all start looking at all?
We didn't go and physically see apartments, like you go on Zillow, you go on like on the apartment app, and we did take a look at a few places, but I told my mom at the time, I was like, "Yo, some of these places are so expensive, and you have to put like 2 months down and a deposit security, da da
You
da
have to
da."
do its first,
See?
last, and a security deposit. And the
See?
security deposit is usually 1 month's rent. It's ridiculous, you guys.
Yeah. So my mom was like, "Why are you gonna kill yourself and do that when it's here? Like, this is you guys need the apartment more than I do." She goes, "What am I gonna do by myself here?" Hmm. I mean, there were things that she was exchanging for it, but I do feel guilty. I do, for sure.
So was your mom always planning on moving out? Were they always long distance then?
Yeah, before, yeah. They
Okay.
were, yeah. Like, she'd go there, he'd come here, like,
Yeah.
back and forth. But
Okay.
yeah, other things that I like feel guilty about, and like with family, mm, I guess sometimes I can be a little too real and maybe say things that are not, I don't mean for them to sound like harsh, but it's more like a I see it as like what? I call it as I see it, right?
Mhm.
Like however I see it in front of me is the way I'm going to say it, and that's how it is. But it's not coming from a place of being like rude. But then sometimes I get the reaction. I'm just like I'm like, oh, sorry. It's that's why sometimes keeping my opinions to myself is like people don't like to be like checked. I say this all the time, but if I
Now,
check, yeah.
would you consider that like something you're guilty of or something you carry guilt for? Because I think there's a difference. Like
Hmm.
you're guilty of doing something. Like I can be guilty of like not watching my tone, but I don't know if I necessarily carry guilt around for that. Maybe if it's
Uh,
particularly a really bad situation, you know?
it's a little both. It's a little
Okay.
both. Like I feel bad for saying, and then I'm like, oh, I see the person's reaction. I'm just like, oh Lord, like what did I do? It's not like again, like when it comes to my family, I'm just like, come on, guys, let's get it together, please. So yeah.
Well, so speaking of family though, like that's another thing that I kind of feel guilty for is like setting boundaries with my family and like and when I say setting boundaries, you guys, like I use that phrase loosely because it's not like I set these people down and was like, okay, here's how it's going to go now. I just like essentially like start moving differently
Mhm.
and I do feel bad about that because like when someone is like always like there for you and then kind of like dips without an explanation, like it's not fun. But I will say that like it's not like I've had people be like, "Hey, what's going on? Like what's the deal?"
Right.
So, I think also just like in the general sense, not just with my family, but in general with people in my life, I have stopped like explaining myself because I found that I was over explaining myself because I didn't want them to feel bad, but like in the process was
Mhm.
making myself feel bad.
Mhm.
So I have stopped explaining myself. If someone has a question or is like wondering, like, hey, why does it seem
Mhm.
like you're being different here lately? I am more than happy to answer it. But I don't think like for me anymore, it needs to be a conversation where I sit down with
Mhm.
somebody and say, like, hey, things were going this way. Now they're going to go this way, just so you know.
Mhm. No, I hear you.
There's no more news bulletins from me.
Yeah, I think like this year I've learned that, if I'm asked of things or asked to go somewhere or hey, we're doing this, like I'll just straight up be like, yeah, I not available, can't go. And whereas like in the past I'd be like, yeah, no, I can't, I'm not available because I have XYZ going on. I wish I could like maybe yes, I do say it now. I tell them like I'm not available, maybe we'll catch up another time. But I can't explain myself. I can't like it's either you're asking me if I'm available or not, and I'm not available. And again, I've seen it with other family members where it's like some are more present than others. So it's just like I'm not gonna feel bad for something I miss once or twice a year where I do kind of make myself more available, you know, more times than none. So, but if you were to ask me, like, Amanda, I need your help for something, like, I need your help, I'll be there. Yeah, for sure. I think I'm not one who can easily ask for help when it comes to family, which is crazy. Or I guess, well, it goes both ways, family or friends. Like, it's hard. It's hard for me
Like
to,
you
like,
don't
ask.
ask your family for help?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like, I'll figure it out myself first
Hmm.
before I ask for help.
I don't know. I'll be asking my mom all kinds of questions.
Well, mom is different. Like, mom is different, but, like, extended family, like,
Oh yeah. Extended family, no. I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
my mom and my Mimi, and then my extended family. Actually, I will say there are some things that some members of my family are experts in. Like, do you know what I
Okay.
mean? And for
Yes.
that, I will always go to them.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as like, okay, it is a busy year, like for me personally, for family
Yeah.
wise.
Right.
My cousin is getting married. I'm in her wedding, and as we know, there are things that come with like being in a wedding,
Mhm.
trips and stuff, and then just part of the wedding process, there are
Mhm.
things. So
Yeah.
bridal shower, all of that. Um, there's also we're also expecting
Mhm.
a couple of different babies, a couple of babies. And then there's a baby shower for a first time mom, one of my
Mhm.
cousins. I'm not going to be able to go home for that.
Mhm.
And then, I have my vacation that I'm taking in
Mhm.
the summer. There's a family vacation that we're going on. So busy, busy year.
Mhm.
What that has meant, I chose to go on this summer vacation when usually what I do during the summer is I go home for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
That for as long as Amanda has known me, I'm usually gone for like two
Yeah.
weeks in the summer.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the first year that I am not doing that. And I'm so very freaking excited to like go to London because I've never been.
It's
But
London, baby.
also,
Sorry.
exactly. Friends reference, you guys. Um, but also like I feel really guilty. I feel really guilty because I can't make it to that baby shower. I feel really guilty that I won't be home to spend time with my mom and my brothers for 2 weeks. I feel guilty that, I'm not going to be home to see my family and actually spend time with them until Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
But these are all like the consequences of the choices that I have made and how I want to live my life. And my family is extremely understanding about that. Like
Mhm.
nobody's upset that I can't make it to the baby shower.
Mhm.
And my mom is not upset with me that I can't come home during the
Mhm.
summer. You know,
Mhm.
she we all knew this was always going to happen. It happened a lot later because my priority was always family first.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that my priorities have like switched up entirely. It's just that like me myself is higher up on the list than I
Right.
think it used to be.
Preach. But also like you said, this is a big year and like what's 1 year? What's like this is right. This is 1 year you're can I say you're being selfish but in a good way?
Yes, you know what is literally on my list? That selfish is not bad. That is a point on my list today.
It's right. You're being selfish, but I feel like you're being selfish in a healthy way where it's like it's benefiting you. This is your time where you've been present for everyone else in your life. Now it's time for you to take care of you. And but I know like and I'm sure everyone also around you knows that y- you're not going to also like continuously like miss other things. Like I know that end goal is you're going to be back home. You're going to end up like living back in Texas, close enough to still like be with like near
Yeah.
family. Okay. So you're going to see that you're going to be there for them. But now is just a chapter in your life where you are taking control of what you want and everyone around you. Once you give off that energy, that vibe, they're like, "Okay, she's got something going on. This she's about her." And people can take it about like, "Oh, well, whatever. I guess she's about her." No. Or she's like, "Yeah, that's great. She's about her." Whether you like it or not, it's just happening. But
Yeah.
you're going to come back.
It's
And
funny
I
because
am
I think about it. It's like I have been a dedicated member, dedicated, loyal member of this family for 30 years. And sometimes it just happens to where, I did the thing. Like I left
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I felt really guilty for that. I felt like I should have stayed home, but I was being selfish. Like I did choose me over my family in that moment, over all the things that I prioritized or had like I felt had like made up my identity up to that point in my life.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's just been a series of moments, like smaller moments, I would say, obviously, not as nothing as big as like moving away, but of choosing myself throughout the years. And sometimes I have faltered, sometimes I have put other people in general in front of myself. But I think the 30s in my life are going to be picking myself, picking me.
We're never going to get this time back. I just told you. I just said time is a thief. Like, we're never gonna get this time back, and if not, when, then now. So what you just said, it kind of brought up my a family member telling me that I'm too nice. I had declined an invitation and maybe again, I think with that one I did actually over explain myself when I said I don't do it. But with that one I did, and the person was like, "You're too nice." I'm like, "Well, you know, eh, like I don't know, like I did feel guilty about like not being present, not being available, but I don't know, it's tricky, guys. I guess that all depends on the situation and the person as well. But we're out here learning. Eh.
Do you think there are any like side effects of feeling guilty?
What do you
You know what's crazy is I couldn't really think of one for like my adult life, although I'm sure there are some. But I thought about this one time, which this thing that I'm about to talk about, it honestly like it changed my perspective on the way that I was living my life.
Mhm,
And it definitely changed the way that I operated, like moving forward from it.
mhm,
So when I was in high school, I was in an anatomy and physiology class with a professor who also, what else did he teach? He taught bio, my professor, oh my God, with a
your
teacher
teacher.
who he taught biology and something else. And I can't remember like what the trip was related to because we also had an environmental science class, which I took.
Mhm,
But I don't know if it was related to that. But there was going to be a trip to Belize. And I was like really excited about it. I was working at the time, I was working at American Eagle and I was working as a soccer referee.
mhm,
And I think my mom told me if I come up with a deposit, I could go. And the deposit, I think, was like maybe like $500 or so. So it was a
okay,
decent amount of money for me to come up with. But I worked really, really hard. I worked a lot of hours and I came up with the money to go. And my best friend was supposed to go with me.
mhm,
And she did not come up with the money for her deposit. And so
mm,
I had already like as soon as I like had because even back then, little Christina was like if I had money, I had to spend it. So as soon as I had all $500, I was immediately like, here you go. Like, please
mhm,
take this from me, please. And then she couldn't come up with her money. So then she wasn't gonna go. And then I had to decide like if I was gonna go or not go because I didn't want to go by myself. I didn't really know anybody else who was
right,
going on the trip.
mhm,
And I remember like going to my teacher and being like, I'm not gonna go anymore because this person isn't going and like I just don't really like feel comfortable going by myself. I don't think I
mhm,
said it that eloquently. I think I said this person isn't going anymore, so I don't want to go anymore.
okay,
And he was so nice about it. Like he ended up giving me my money back. But before he was like, look, I just want you to think about it. Like this will be a really fun experience for you. Just take a moment, like think about it. You will have fun on this trip either way. And I did. And I still was like kind of in this shell as a person where I was like, I have my friend and I'm attached to my friend and I don't want to
yeah,
do anything.
yeah,
Um, but I didn't go. I didn't get to experience that trip. And I have no idea if I'll ever go to Belize in my life. But it's
mhm,
a moment that like sticks out to me because then like moving forward, like I did do everything differently. Like we were both supposed to apply to go to college in New York. And I did fill out my application and got everything in. And I think they did fill out their application. I really can't remember what happened, but
uh-huh,
it was just like one of us was going and one wasn't. And then I was like, well, I don't know. I can't make my decision based on this person. I can't make my life decision based
life,
on this
yeah,
person. So, obviously I went, but then even when I got into college, like there were a couple of like study abroad trips that I wanted to go on, but I wasn't going to know anybody. And that like the thing from high school has always like stayed in my head. Like you can continue to miss out on opportunities or you can like push yourself to go out of your comfort zone and experience new things and do things differently or whatever.
yeah.
So story time is over for me. I think I've talked enough today.
No, no, I'm just trying to think like no, no, like it's I guess, it is one of those like life it is I think for me it's like your story. It is a life-changing experience because it taught you like moving forward. It's not like what is the saying? What's the saying? Like, so if your friend jumps off the bridge, you're gonna jump off the
Oh
bridge
yeah.
too?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a kid, right? But somewhere along the line, you figured out you're like, yo, I can't. You're going to be an adult. You're going to live your own life. Like it has to start at some point. And for you, it clicked when you were like, yeah, I cannot hold myself back for this person when I have to like your whole goal was like you knew you wanted to go to New York City to go to college and you made that happen. Whatever that happened to the other person, that's what happened. But for you, like you were just like it clicked for you at that moment. You're like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna stop myself and my dreams because they can't go. You already did that once. And it left you like feeling like the what if. What
Yeah.
if you had gone? You know what I mean?
I do want to say that like I don't like blame this person for anything. I think this
No,
one person is just like a larger metaphor for like
sure.
honestly like maybe people pleasing a little bit or like not doing things that I want to just because I don't want to do them by myself. Like it was a lot of lessons in one like incident,
Yeah.
you know?
Dang, but what's something then? Guilt. Oh, I don't know. This one was hard.
Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something because you felt guilty for doing it?
I'm sure, but I can't even think of a specific one right now. An example. Oh my God. I'm sure it happens to me like every day. Um, oh, there are times. I don't know if this is just something that makes me feel guilty, but it is what it is. Like there are times where I'll ask I'll ask my coworkers like, "Hey, do you need anything from outside?" And they'll be like, and they'll say, "Yeah, whatever, I'll pick it up." Or when they ask me if I can pick up something, I'm just like, I don't want to. Just want to go straight. I want to go from point A to point B. I don't want to make any stops between point A and point B. And I just like not. And I feel bad because I don't like to say no.
So you say yes and you'd make stops.
Yeah.
And is it like
Sometimes.
you're going
Sometimes.
out and they're like, "Hey, oh,
Sometimes.
you're going out. Can you do this?" Or do you
Yeah.
ask them like, "Hey, can I do is there anything y'all need out there?" Out there in the world.
The first part. Like if I'm like on my way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Just like
That one is
mm.
hard because then you have to like come back and see them.
I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, that's just like a very plain Jane one that I can think of right now on
You
top
just
of my
lie and
head.
be like, "Oh, I'm not going in that direction. Sorry."
And then even then, I'm like, yo, karma's about to like bite me in the ass because I just said no to this person. Yeah.
That's the thing
I'm
though,
about to have a
is
shitty
like
day now because of that.
I don't like I personally like don't think that's how karma works. Like use like you if you don't want to do something, you don't want to do it. Like saying no to somebody because like you don't want to do their errand for them is
Yeah.
not like something that requires karmic intervention on my part. If you were like, okay, I'll do it for you, but then you like threw their thing away or something, then yeah, like that would might require some karmic intervention. But just being like, I want to do my thing and like my thing only, I don't think you'd have a bad day for that.
That's just me. That's just me being neurotic. Um,
But I think that's a really good point. Is it like guilt like makes you neurotic and it makes you like think illogical things?
very much. And I'm like, am I a bad person? Like, am I terrible? I just questioned my whole existence after that. I'm just like, whatever.
No, it's a really good point because it's also how I feel about like the stuff with like family or like with my brothers or when I say no to my mom for something, I'm like, damn, am I a bad person? Because like I didn't want to do this thing with her or like sometimes she'll
Yeah.
find me like cute things and she'll be like, oh, do you like this? And I'll say no and I'll feel bad about it, even though like I know if I said yes, like she would spend her money on it and then send it to me, which would also cost money and then I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna do anything with it.
And you're
And like
stuck with
then
it.
I feel guilty. So it's like I feel guilty either way.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, we don't want that. Let's save our pennies. Let's not say yes to
Exactly. So like
everything.
I would rather feel guilty and say no than say yes and she spends money on things that I'm not
Yeah, no.
gonna like wear or use.
Yeah, no, no, no. Oh my God.
But I think that kind of like helps us get to like our last point is that like selfish is not bad. Like there are instances in where like being a selfish person is not the negative thing that people make it out to be. Like people will call you selfish for putting yourself first, when in reality, if you're not gonna put yourself first, really nobody will.
Yeah. My cousin actually like reminds me it's okay to feel selfish. Like, and she'll do it in a way where like she'll ask me if I need help with anything, whatever's going on in like my life, or she'll reach out and she'll be like, "Yeah, just let me know." Like I know she's like the one person who like makes an effort to know that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to like want things and do things differently, step out of your comfort zone. And like I appreciate her so much for that because again, like I said, I'm not one to ask for help and she knows that. So I love that she reaches out to me about things and is like, if you need me, just tell me. Or like not even that because she knows I'm not gonna say anything, but like she'll ask me and wait for me to like answer. And she knows where I'm getting at or where I know where she's getting at. So like again, like I love her for that. But it's okay. It's okay to be selfish because you see, I'm sure like there are people in your family that you see who were working well where being selfish has worked out for them. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yes.
So why can't I do the same? Like, why can't I do things for me? Do things not only just for me, but like do things for like my family, do things for myself and my husband. Like I I see that as a unit when it comes to just doing things for me, you know? So maybe I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that'll be like a hard thing to navigate or a new like landscape for me to navigate.
I guess like the thing like has occurred like with my family. And that thing that includes like my aunts and uncles who like no longer live in the city, like live in like in because we all used to live in the same borough and like maybe 20 minutes away from each other. But things change, opportunities are like given to them and you have to do what's best for your family. So yeah, of course, they moved out. My aunts moved out, my uncles moved out, out of the city and they live hours away now. So right, so that family, like that tight family dynamic that we used to have, so it's not as tight anymore because we're not close in like distance. We're far away. And sometimes I do get like a little down because I remember how I grew up and just having holidays and birthdays or just like a weekend where my grandma would be like, "Yeah, I'm cooking." So everybody stop by. And it'd be all of us in a room, all of my cousins together. And now it's like we don't have that. So it doesn't I don't want to say we're drifting apart. It's just that we're learning to like still have this family, but from a distance. And there are times where because we're so used to having that distance that it's made it up maybe a little bit easier to say no to things and then or sometimes say yes because I miss you and I want to see you. So I think like one example is Constantine's birthday. Like he invited like he had his family, like all of our mutual friends, and then my family was also invited. And unfortunately, like my family could not attend. So it kind of like I understand that everyone has their stuff going on. It was a little like I was sad on my end. Like I was a little like bummed out because I would love to have my family there, but like I felt bad. I was sad about it. Like did I feel away? Kinda. But I have to understand also like everyone has their thing, and just like when I say no, they also need to say no or have to say no, whatever the circumstances are. But again, it's like I don't know, like I said, like it's the distance has made it a little bit more easier to just like I don't know, like not say yes right away.
Yeah. No, I definitely get where you're coming from. It's funny that like you said that or you're bringing that up this episode because earlier this week, like I was thinking about how like I'm really not gonna see any of my cousins until later on in the fall, later in the year. So I texted them and I was like, "Hey, just checking in on y'all, like what's going on?" And because I have a group chat with all of my younger cousins on my mom's side, and there's like 9 of us, and everybody was like responding or whatever, but it really like got me in my feelings because I was thinking about how like for a lot of them, like when I left, like they were still like in junior high and under. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm the oldest. So whenever I go home, like I'm kind of like confronted or faced with the fact that like I don't really know them the
Mm-hmm.
way that I did when we were younger. Like you were saying, like when we used to do this thing at my grandma's house called Boys and Girls Night where we would all the kids would go stay over. But like I don't know them like as well as I did
Right.
back then. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a harsh reality to kind of face because like it doesn't mean anybody like loves each other any less. It doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
there's like anything wrong. It's a part of growing up and it's a part of growing up that I was not like prepared for. Like and I don't know how you would prepare somebody for that to say one day like, "Oh yeah, you're all best friends right now, but one day you're barely going to talk to each other just so you know."
It is the craziest feeling because I always imagine that my family, like my kids would like come into just seeing like actually physically see the family grow in front of their eyes because we were for years all together.
Hmm.
And when that changed, I was just like now it's starting to hit a little bit more, but like because my younger cousins are getting older. So like you saw them when they were like little babies. Now they're older, high school, going into college. Like it is crazy to see that. And we're not there all the time to see them grow. I don't know. Again, yeah, like there's a little guilt in that too
There is.
because
No, there is.
like I like you said you reached out to um like to your cousins. Like yes, I can do a better job about that with my younger cousins. Like right now I'm just learning how to um like although I'm saying no to certain things, like certain like I'm not certain, I shouldn't say that. Although like I'm not available at things that I'm being invited to, I'm still making the effort to still see them by sending a group chat and being like, "Hey, are you guys available to stay? So I'd like to see you guys, or if my mom is in town, like I would like for all of us to get together. Like, I'm still making that conscious effort so that way maybe in hindsight I don't feel as guilty for saying no.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's crazy is like I'm realizing like there's a lot of guilt and like growing up. That's just like nobody asked for. You don't do anything. It's
No.
just like it's a side effect of like growing up.
There you go. Then maybe that was my side effect.
We got there.
There.
Huh, interesting. There's a lot to think about tonight.
Yes.
Okay, but what I will say and what I did want to end this on is that like I think as long as like that love is there, you don't have to like feel guilty for putting yourself first. And I don't know. I'm never a proponent of feeling guilty for putting yourself first in any situation because sometimes you have to. And a lot of the
Mhm.
time you have to actually.
Yes.
And it's just a part of growing up, you guys. It seems I'm learning.
It is a part of the learning experience as an adult growing up. It goes back to like my thing of like priorities. And if you being selfish is a priority for you, like it is what it is. I don't think, I hopefully, at least I hope that you don't have any regrets for being selfish. I hope not. Um, but this is your time. You need to run with it. Yeah. No one's gonna do it if like only you know how much you want something and no one else is gonna go after it like you are.
How did we end this?
Be selfish. If you've been there for everybody around you, it is your time to take care of yourself. I'm so excited for you, like for this year. Like, you're traveling, your family events. I'm so excited for you, Christine. I really am.
It's a little
It's
stressful.
like,
There's a lot going on.
oh
But
no.
I will tell y'all, I'm really excited because like, no, this isn't the first time in my life, but I am buying a plane ticket completely with airline points, and I'm only gonna have to pay $12 for the like
Shut
$12
shut up. To
for
go
the
to
ticket.
London? Wait, to go to London?
No, 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 no.
Oh, about to say for something else, for something else, for
Yeah,
other
for
travels.
something
Got
else.
it. Got it.
$12, you guys. That's insane.
You've been racking up them points with sugarfish. That's why.
Honestly, I think it's like the London expenses that I've been putting on my card,
Oh, okay, okay,
which
okay.
I'm grateful for. I'm not gonna lie. Because I have also learned, sorry, tangent, but I have also learned like debit cards are a little bit of a scam. Like I put everything on my credit card, everything, and then I just pay it off at the end of the month now. That's what
Yeah,
I do.
that's
Like
what I heard.
groceries go on that card, bills go on that card. I can't put my student loan payment on that card, otherwise I definitely would.
Yeah,
Like things that anything that can go on the card, like subscriptions, does. And
yeah.
like that's how I get a lot of my airline points. So, and also Amanda can attest to this. If we go to a dinner, like a group dinner, and everybody's
She
like, I'm like, I'll put it on my card, don't
she's
worry.
like, I'll put on my card. And it's so funny because in high school, one of my teachers did say that she only pays with her credit card, and at the end of the month, she just pays it off. Like she puts everything. Like she said, if I do groceries or buy something around the corner, she'll put it on her credit card and she'll pay it off at the end of the month. Which is, it's funny that you're saying that, and that was the one thing that I took from that was my history teacher in junior year, and that was the one thing I ran with. Like I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Did I follow it? No, should have.
It took me a while to get to the point where like I'm paying everything off at the end of the month. That wasn't always what was happening, but you live and you learn. I will also say though that usually if there's like a fraudulent transaction, it is much easier to get your money back from a credit card company than it is from like your wherever you keep your debit card. Like
Yeah,
that's usually a lot harder for me to get my money back.
yeah,
So that's also like security reason to maybe always use your credit card. But please, 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 please pay it off. Like you have to pay it off.
yeah. Don't do the minimum payments. Don't do the
Also a
minimum
scam.
payments. That's a scam. The interest rates are just ridiculous. So pay it off. If you're gonna use it, pay it off. Yeah.
Use credit responsibly. That took me a minute to learn.
Ugh.
That's what I carry a lot of guilt over that. um, but yeah, you guys. So I shared my glow for the week. Amanda, what is yours?
It's my mom's birthday this weekend. I'm gonna go
Oh,
see my mom on Sunday. Um, I'm excited.
oh,
We've
she's like
been
right before Mother's Day.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, her birthday is Sunday. Happy birthday, Mama, because she said she's been catching up on all of the episodes. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. That is making me glow because we'll go have breakfast. My mom is very much a mall shopping person. I wonder, yes, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. We'll have a barbecue and then we'll come back home. Yeah.
Oh, are you going for the day or for the weekend?
Going for the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fun. Well, happy
Mhm.
birthday. Thank you for
Thank
catching up
you.
on all of our episodes. Oh, so exciting. Very happy for you. And then Mother's Day, she'll be down here.
Yes, yes, that's the event that I'm trying to get people together for. Yeah.
Everybody show up.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's only like what, a week in between, right? Or 2 weeks.
Yeah, because the a week in between, you're right,
Okay.
because because the week in between is the 4th.
Oh, we're recording, yes.
Yes, and then the
Oh,
following
yes,
week.
we talked about this when we were making the schedule to record, I remember. And okay, you guys, there are only 2 episodes left after this, which you can find for the next 2 Wednesdays on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Do not forget to submit your season 3 finale submissions by this Friday May 3rd. And please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and leave us a glowing review on Apple Podcast.
Yes, the links that Christina was mentioning before today, you can find that on Instagram at Glowing Up Latina, or share with her privately your questions or what did you say?
Any
You said
stories you have,
any stories
anything
you
you want
have,
to know,
anything.
questions you have for us, be nosy. You only have
Yes.
Amanda for 2 more episodes. What do you want to
Yes.
know about her?
Send it. Send it our way. Go ahead. You can send it to glowinguplatina@gmail.com.
And until next week, keep glowing me, huh?
Bye.